It is time now to look at what the headlines on the Nigerian newspapers are saying this morning. And I have with me in the studio Digbo Yewole, strategy consultant and public affairs analyst, as well as Jide Ologun, lawyer and social development advocate. Gentlemen, good morning. Good morning. And compliments of the season.
Compliments of the season.
The days are here. I remember last year and even the previous years and all the Christmases, 2 days to Christmas like this, the place bubbles so much, but it's a different call this year.
Yes.
Yeah, they weren't saying that.
Oh, really?
In some quarters, it's bubbling.
Oh, right. Tell me about it. Okay. Now let's start with the Nation newspaper. Nation says, federal government intensifies push for COVID-19 vaccine. And ministers, there will be no lockdown, travel ban not likely. Okay. All of those response on the front page of the Nation newspaper. Recall that will be countries expecting their first vaccines in January. Daily Sun is next now. Daily Sun says, insecurity, we're frustrated, tired. Governors are saying this. If this headline is anything to go by, then I wonder how it is when governors are saying we are frustrated and tired. All is about security. Vow never to give up in fight against criminals, though. Okay, that's the Daily Sun. Blueprint newspaper says COVID-19, Nigerians react as Buhari extends PTF mandate to March next year. Nigerians react as Buhari extends PTF mandate to March. That's a presidential task force. That's a Blueprint. Daily Times is next now. What governors or what federal government and states are doing to curb insecurity. All right, what federal government states are doing to curb insecurity. We certainly will talk about security issues when we open discussions shortly. That's Daily Times. Now, national economy. He says on COVID-19, we won't impose a fresh lockdown. That's federal government giving assurance to Nigerians there. Says government observing Benin Republic, Togo, Ghana before decision on UK flights. PMB extends PTF mandate till March 2021. Okay, government says they are observing Benin, Togo, Ghana. And meanwhile, Benin, Togo, Ghana are observing Nigeria as to the leadership, what Nigeria is going to do so that they too can also take their decisions. So everybody is watching each other. All right, that's national economy. Daily Trust is next now. Daily Trust says, is on the second wave. It says, Buhari asks governors to take over fight and extends COVID-19 task force mandates to March. Our health system can't withstand major outbreak. The PTF is saying this. Different tales in states. Okay, that's Daily Trust. Let's go now to the leadership newspaper. Governors fume, vow to tackle insecurity at the root. All right, say we are tired, frustrated. And why terrorists target schools? Mohammed is trying to give some tips there. DSS uncovers plot to bomb public facilities. The troops rescue 10 kidnapped victims in Zamfara, killed 2 bandits in Benue. We are working with Mieti Allah to restore peace. Governor Matawale of Zamfara State is saying this. All right, that's part of what we'll be talking about shortly when we open discussions. Now let's go to the Punch newspaper. Punch says Buhari under fire, says only God can police Niger border. All right. Buhari under fire when he says only God can police Nigeria-Niger border. Statement from Buhari as commander-in-chief, shocking. That's the PDP is saying this. The president using God as a cover-up for his failure, says Northern Christian Association of Nigeria. And comment signifies loss of control and height of waywardness. Afenifere and Ohaneze Ndibu are all lending their voices on this. That's the Punch newspaper. All right, Vanguard is next, and he says, only God can oversee Nigeria-Niger border. That's a statement from, it's credited to President Muhammadu Buhari. Nigeria at risk of becoming a failed state. Financial Times is saying this. The report is right. Nigeria is sinking fast. Ohaneze is saying this, and Nigeria is in a mess. Afenifere is saying this. Insecurity has become unbearable. Pandef is saying this, and OPS expressed grave concerns over Nigerian economy, says reality is on ground frightening. All right, that's from all on the front page of the Vanguard. The Guardian is next now. 43 vessels stuck in Lagos waters. as port congestion worsens and cost of shipping containers rise 600%. Freight forwarders blame stoppage of container stripping barge operations. 44 ships expected in Lagos in December. All right, so if 44 vessels are stocked so far and 43 are stocked so far and 44 are still expected, it's all right. Let's take a look at how things go. All right, gentlemen, let's look at the story on the front page of the Leadership newspaper. All right, the way it is put here, governors vowed to tackle insecurity at the root. We've been fighting Boko Haram since 2009. So this year, we say officially, it's 11 years now, and governors are still vowing to tackle security at the root. I wonder what you make of this, Jide.
It's a good vow, but then we need to look at foundational issues that we have failed to address. Now Boko Haram has grown into a huge tree with bandits on one side, kidnappers, different branches of crime. But how did it start? In 2002, a man rose up to present an ideology that Western education is evil and you must forbid Western education. As we ask the question then, can we now ask a simple question that is progressive? What does education stand for? Civilization, development, and here we are. He was taken out along the way, and in 2009, it exploded. Islamic State of West Africa came in, probably ISIS, and today, even the president said recently, when he came in 2015, he inherited Quran, but today, and we are talking about frustration. But that has not deleted or repealed Section 14, Section 2 of the Nigerian Constitution 1999 as amended that says that security and the welfare of people shall be the primary purpose of government. When you now bring it to social contract environment, there were three major promises to do with corruption, to fix the economy, and to restore security to the country. If you evaluate returns on investment, that is why I may agree with the Financial Times saying Nigeria is becoming a failed state, because when the government appears to be in control, it helps you to define a failed state. So the governors are coming out to say they are frustrated. It's a very sincere expression. They have not dealt with the issues. You see, the UAE helped us recently by convicting 6 sponsors of Boko Haram. There are allegations, even from APC, the governor is sponsoring Boko Haram. We have these excuses. My president has blamed preachers, he has blamed traditional rulers, he has asked for the support of people, and yet they have just spread. So right now, back to returns on investment. Boko Haram achieved so much, while the state appears to be dwindling in relevance. Because the top I'm painting now is that the state called Nigeria is overwhelmed by crime. Whether it's raping, kidnapping, banditry, whatever you call it, is you're fighting for a cause. What cause are they fighting for? You see, so, and I am not comfortable with the fact that my nation is being presented as a weak nation that cannot deal with criminality.
Now, the problem is, up to now, when you analyze the capacity of the Nigerian security agent, be it the soldier in the Navy or Army or Air Force, or even the Nigerian police or the State Security Service, everyone agrees that the capacity, they still have the high standing and respect of the international community when it comes to the capacity to handle issues. But in the Nigerian situation, where the security that is facing us right now, all of this capacity is still inherent in the people that are handling security issues here and there. But we have this challenge here with us where we're still talking about Boko Haram, insurgency, and all of that 11 years after. What do you make of all of this, especially when the president, commander-in-chief, is saying that only God who is in heaven can help us between Nigeria and Niger border?
Brought that statement back from the pages of the newspapers, and that was how I was going to start my contribution, saying that, so when the president says that only God himself, Almighty, can oversee certain issues with regarding his own responsibility.
Maybe it was out of his faith in God, that God is the ultimate.
We did it, all due respect, we didn't vote for God. We voted for President Buhari. And so I find it quite troubling when the commander-in-chief of the armed forces of any nation would say that, and of course it's only our nation that could have happened. And it is quite unsettling, because what that tells me is one of two things. It's either we don't know what to do, or we know what to do and we're not going to do it. Because how does that come into play? over time, in the last couple of weeks, we've seen a lot of attacks from insurgents. I mean, now we have different names for them. We have insurgents, we have bandits, we have, and I don't know how we got to splinter off Boko Haram or criminals into such nomenclatures. These guys are criminals, plain and simple. Either they're insurgents or bandits and all of that. But like you said, about the capacity of our armed forces at various levels, what is going on? Is there sincerity of purpose? Is there sincerity of execution? Some time ago, we had this same conversation on this program where we talked about the help that we're trying to get from other nations. They came into the country and then they had to leave, and then a lot of folks are saying that they have a lot of sympathizers, I mean Boko Haram now, within every branch of our armed forces. Have they been able to address that? We have arrests made by a foreign nation saying that these people are sponsors of Boko Haram. What follow-up have we gotten from them? We're the same nation that has said that we would have a program for repentant criminals, repentant terrorists. So I have been asking this question, that what have we gained from that particular program? What intelligence have we been able to gain from that particular program? Or is it just
although the security agencies or agents rather will say that that's not an information they would share in the public space.
Exactly.
So let us assume that they got a lot. But the point there is, whether we are supposed to be privy to that information or not, Nigerians don't want to know. What they want to know is, if I am going to bed to sleep, let me sleep and wake up in the morning with nobody harassing me as a kid. That's what Nigerians just want.
Exactly. So I'm not saying that they even need to come out to tell us that, okay, you know what, 7 repentant, as they like to call them, terrorists have come to tell us this and that. So that's none of our business. But whatever information you're claiming that you're being given, is it showing in execution? Are we seeing in terms of results? Because I find it quite puzzling where we have frequent incessant attacks back to back, so frequent, and then you're asking, so what is the objective of this amnesty program? Because it is an amnesty program, either way we would like to shake it. But for me, we're not getting the results on that, and I think it is really just a waste of time, and it is another way that is incentivizing these guys to keep operating. And then maybe if one of them says that, okay, you know what, we're tired, we want to go into retirement, let's call the Nigerian government and say that we're laying down our arms, we get a cushy salary or allowance, we would likely get to study abroad. These are the same people that they claim to be fighting against Western education, but part of the incentives you're giving them is also taking them abroad. So for me, it is quite contradictory.
All right. Now, sometime last year, the governor of governors, in fact, not just one governor, governors of several states in the north, from the reports we got, had one negotiation or the other so that there can be peace. In fact, particularly in Zamfara State, there was a situation where there was an understanding where those persons, are sent back and then normalcy returned to the state for a period of time. But here we are again, talking about the same thing. Although the governor said, well, it has reduced and all of that. That strategy of negotiating with the criminals and all of that, how impactful is that?
It is negatively impacting. You see, there is what I classify as infrastructure, the things you build and make available. Then we also talk about the superstructure, the mind of the man, that we handle those things. So when a man is conditioned to be a criminal, it does not matter what you make available to him. He must just go out there. In fact, some of the repentants who have killed their parents. So I'm asking the questions. Who radicalized them? Hard drugs were imported into this country through the customs. Where did they disappear into? The ammunition imported into the country, where did they end up? The military. So some human beings radicalized in a number of months, and you want to radicalize them in 2 weeks of work. So, and I've spoken about that. Even with the Kankara boys that were released recently, because we still people were rescued. The governor said he called some of the repentant candidates to go and negotiate. So you are negotiating with criminals.
Yeah,
they claim that you are criminals. And I pointed out this issue in research and content analysis. I know that when we go to the root of all this, we can solve the problems of Nigerian coming together, Nigerians in unity. Boko Haram may appear to be a regional project to advance some political interests. Right now, show saying that they must stop us. from roaming about, destroying people's crops, and not leading to the attacks that we have. So we're waking up to that reality now. So I have said it on record that a prominent Nigerian said in year 2013 that calm down on Boko Haram is injustice to the north, making allusion to the anti program of Sasa. The big question we are asking is that is it not traumatizing? Like I recently, that in the last 6 months, about 1,162 lives are wasted by these criminals, and there are 365 days in a year. So in 6 months, so you can imagine, thousands displaced. And that is also to another issue we are not addressing. Is there ethnic cleansing going on in Nigeria as alleged by the Danjuma, retired, who has access to security intelligence report of the office he has occupied in this country?
But
if we don't deal with fundamental issues and we are just discussing the symptoms, it may be a far cry. And we are addressing the governors now, and I'm even going beyond the governors because the governors don't control the security apparatus. If it's anything to go by, internal security is the purview of the police. They have been overwhelmed. That is the impression created. The military has now come in. The chief of army staff is from Borno State. Why should Borno State be the center of terrorism?
But his mandate is not to Borno State, it's to the country.
Sir, again, permit me to roll this out.
Yeah.
If my president went to his state and 334 or 30 thereabout students were kidnapped in the state of my president, why should I feel safe in that country? We need to ask questions about leadership. And I'm going to the National Assembly now. 109 senators, 360 House of Rest members. You are to represent our interest. And I have spoken about reinforcement theory. If you don't curb it now, the insecurity of one is the insecurity of all. Look at kidnappings now. It has become
a major industry.
Investment.
Yes.
So we need to wake up and ask the simple question. Is there a Nigeria? Yes. Can we go together? Yes. How do we go together? Let's say right now, it's like, if the president is the only God can manage the border between Nigeria and Nigeria, is it God is constructing the railway line to the Nigerian Republic?
Is it the
God that is buying the excess barrels of oil produced in Nigeria Republic?
Maybe God has FX.
You see? And now, if my president says it's God that will help us, we pray to that God to rise up against the enemies of this nation. And that also punctuates the border issue. You know, even when the land borders were shut, in some parts of this country, the report was contrary.
Yes.
So what exactly is going on? Do we have laws for war?
The president, that statement terrible. Credited to the president, we want to assume that it is out of his faith in God, calling God to assist.
That's why I'm expressing my own faith in God also.
All
God
Nigerians
brought down the wall of Jericho. So if we cannot identify the sponsors of Boko Haram and all these crime in the land, may God arise and please help my president to achieve the mandate and deal with the enemies of the nation.
Yes, God, he has identified the power of God in that regard, so we hope something is going to change.
Yes.
Now, just about a day ago, the DSS came out to announce to Nigerians that they have uncovered a plot, to plant bombs and all of that in parts of the country and all of that. Would you see that as a win for the DSS? Because with that now, security has been heightened in different parts of the country, and it may lead to the foiling of such kind of a plot. Oh,
yes, it is a win by every standard and every metric. Now, if we come here and we talk about the failings of government, we should also identify when they win, because we're here to have objective conversations. Nobody's here to attack the government. We won't leave our homes to come attack the government. There's no point doing that. But yes, it is a major win, and it is quite commendable that the DSS...
It tells intelligence is still working.
Yes, it is still working, but they can always do more. Yes, they can always do more. There's always room for improvement in every facet of life. Either it's individual, either it's personal, either it's corporate, and all of that. But that being said, that efficiency that we have seen in the DSS with this particular operation, can it be replicated in other branches of our security? Is it possible? If it isn't, what are the challenges? Have they been able to identify those challenges? What are they doing to overcome those challenges? In the last couple of years, like we've been saying, that we've had the challenge of Boko Haram, insecurity, insurgents, bandits now, kidnappings and all of that. What intelligence apparatus has been put in place to ensure, because I mean, when they started the super camps, a lot of us said, it may not be so effective. And then the military said, okay, you know what, the super camps is going to put the fear of God in all of them. They'll know that we're here. And then the super camps came, and then the numbers of attacks kept increasing because they know that you're concentrated in a certain area. So, I mean, we know where you are and we know where you're not. So that was the ideology behind that. But have they been able to say that? Is it possible for us to implore or to explore other strategies to see how we can tackle this issue of insecurity? Because it keeps going on and on and on. For me, like the barrister said, it is very frightening that right there in the president's home state, while he was on ground, it says a lot. Either we like it or not, while he was on ground, like 2 days, almost maybe less than 2 days that he was in the state, the Kankara Boys incident happened. I mean, that for me shows that there's really no fear. There's really nothing for them to have been afraid of, saying that the president of the country and the commander-in-chief of the armed forces is right here in this country. That at least on some level, there would be some heightened level of security in the country and in the state.
Because the point is, if the president is going to any state, it's not just that day that the security sweep is carried out.
They would have had advanced teams on site. Right. And
we have to leave it here now and join the president to pray for God to man the borders, not just of Nigeria and Niger, but Nigeria, Cameroon, Nigeria, Benin Republic, Nigeria, Chad, to help the country one way or the other, isn't it? Thank you very much, Dipo Ewole, for your time on the program. Jido Lobo, thank you very much. We appreciate your coming as well.
Thank you. God will do a new thing.
Yes, that's our prayer. That's our prayer. That's why we're joining the president to pray for the country.
Very important.
Yeah, exactly.